Welcome everyone and good afternoon. This is our 5th Senate meeting. I'm Donna Cataldo and I am coming to you all from my home campus in downtown Phoenix. So happy Monday. Happy New Year. I just want to go ahead and begin just making sure everybody can kind of hear and see. So we should be doing fine from downtown, I'm guessing. And then I'll go ahead, Nancy, on Polytechnic. How are you guys hearing us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay.
Thank you. And Joan, how do we sound and how are we doing in Tempe? You know, I'm having trouble hearing Tempe. Nope. We may need some
I think we're good now.
I'll move on to West and Owen. How are you guys hearing me? And I'll come back to Tempe.
Yeah, we can hear you real well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Owen. And Joan, let me see if we can hear you a little bit better this time.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Success. So we'll, before we begin, we always, as you know, just in case if we lose video, we'll take a 10-minute recess. If we lose, so just kind of hang tight. And, but if we lose video and audio, we'll just call it down. But if we still have audio, we'll proceed with the Senate meeting, okay? So we'll go ahead and begin with just getting our quorum calculation, please. And just, please select, always please, the number that is associated with your campus.
I don't have, there are extra clickers down there, Sam.
Yeah.
Can you grab a couple more?
We're just getting some more clickers over.
Leave presentation mode.
There's like a clear button at the bottom, right? Over.
The bottom.
And then if that, just maybe try another one.
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Donna, this is Chuck. It looks like we have 81. Do you want me to close it?
Yeah, we'll go ahead. Thank you, Chuck.
We're waiting on one more vote.
Okay, well, good. Then we'll wait on just another one then.
Get the highest number possible. All right, you do have a quorum.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chuck. All right, then. So we'll go to our Monday pop quiz question.
That was it.
Hope you all studied up over the weekend. Which of the following is a best practice when holding academic unit elections for senators? Nominate and vote for whomever is absent for the meeting. Let the director chair appoint someone. Appoint the outgoing senator to another term. Have a call for nominations and a faculty vote. Be nice, everybody. There's a tempting answer, and then there's the correct answer.
Okay, 89 votes. So last call to register.
Well done, everybody. Yes. Have a call for nominations, which of course you will be getting very soon for campus elections. So that is just a little reminder that we do have campus elections coming up, and so please, nominate your fellows, whether they're teaching faculty or research faculty. All are welcome because everything we do here at Senate affects all areas of academics and shared governance. So thank you. Well done for avoiding the temptation. So we'll move on to informational reports, and at this time I'd like to invite Shirley Rose, who is our Senate President-elect and simultaneously our outgoing representative for the Pac-12 Academic Leadership Conference representative. We were just there recently, and I asked her if she wouldn't mind putting together a few notes on what was discussed amongst our Pac-12 peer institutions.
Okay. Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, everyone. I have a PowerPoint that I hope get queued up here. This past weekend, the Pac-12 Academic Leadership Coalition met for its annual conference in Los Angeles. We were hosted by the University of Southern California. Attending from ASU were Donna Cataldo, our president, Stefan Sanchez, past president from the West Campus, Pam Hoyle, our academic senate administrative specialist, and myself. I attended as outgoing Pac-12 at-large representative from ASU. Stefan is incoming representative at-large, and I also attended in my capacity as incoming or president-elect for our academic senate. The Pac-12 Academic Leadership Coalition is a group that's made up of Senate leadership from the respective campuses elected, and also administrative and support such as Chuck and Pam are for us. Here's a mission statement from the organization. ASU's been a member of this organization from the start, 2011, and has played a leadership role in the organization. The purpose of the organization is to improve governance and improve faculty involvement in governance at the respective institutions, and also to facilitate cooperation among the campuses. We do that through three main processes. One is identifying shared concerns, seeing what are the trends in higher education, or at least among institutions that are like ours, improving shared governance by sharing information from our respective campuses, and then sharing effective practices, talking about what are we doing at our own campuses that is working, how have we solved problems. So sharing problems and sharing solutions. Back in the fall, we had a phone conference during which each of the representatives from the respective campuses, respective institutions, shared what were hot topics, what their academic senates were discussing at that time. And I have a list here of some of the topics that came up at that time. As you look down that list, I think you'll notice that there are some of those that are of interest to us as well, and some that maybe are not, because we think we've solved those problems, or things that maybe we might be looking ahead to or thinking about. But this is a list that was generated in the fall. Then our conference program itself was responsive to topics that were brought up in that session. I listed here three of the presentations that were given to us from people at USC. The Assistant Vice Provost for Student Affairs and the Chief Threat Assessment Officer at USC talked to us about issues around campus safety, and one of the takeaways for us was how well it is working for them to have a unit that oversees what might otherwise be separated into campus security issues and student counseling issues. And this is a way that they try to get in front of problems that might be developing. A second really valuable presentation was given by an Assistant Vice Provost for Academic and Faculty Affairs, on incentivizing, evaluating, and rewarding teaching excellence. They talked about how they have moved away from a reliance on students' course evaluations and are developing a much more robust way of evaluating faculty. And that resonated with us, and I think it resonated with most of the people who were in attendance. And then finally, the last formal presentation was on identifying, recruiting, and retaining diverse faculty, which was presented by USC's Faculty Diversity Recruitment Officer. We also talked at multiple times about our respective systems of shared governance. Then as we were coming to a close from the conference, each of the institutions had a chance again to reiterate what their hot topics were, to share information, and we developed a set of topics that will be a future focus for the group. And those were recruiting and retaining diverse faculty, equity for career stream non-tenure track faculty. That was an issue that was shared across all of the institutions, which I'm sure is not unexpected, and evidence-based evaluation of teaching. I think we all four came away from the weekend's experience feeling like the time was very well spent, finding out how many issues we do share with faculty at other institutions, and the prospect of our being able to do good things together. I am happy to answer questions if you have any.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shirley, for that. Why don't I go ahead and see if anybody on the downtown campus has any other additional questions on what was discussed at the Pac-12 coalition meeting.
Yeah, I was just wondering how, these are wonderful, what I heard, how this will, what's the next step for this, and how some of this may be operationalized here at ASU. Sorry if I missed that.
No, that's fine. Do you want to address that, Shirley?
I didn't hear the question.
So,
can you repeat it?
Yeah, of course. The question was basically, what are kind of the next steps? How are we going to maybe operationalize some of what we discussed at this coalition meeting? And that was kind of the topic that we had come up with. Do you want to maybe share a little bit of that?
What I anticipate we will do is, now that these three topics are identified as a focus, we'll probably begin sharing some specific information, strategizing, brainstorming about ways that we might address that and make the most of the opportunity to learn from each other. I would expect that these would be topics that come up for discussion again at our next meeting, that they're an outcome that we might look forward to is possibly a statement about best practices, that kind of thing. Stefan or Donna, if you want to amend or add to that.
I mean, one example. Yeah, thank you, Shirley. One example might be where USC has put a lot of work into really considering evaluation of their faculty. They created kind of downloadable documents that would be modifiable to each unit in each college. And so maybe taking a look at what are all the best practices that each of the universities are doing and kind of create a collective shared document that might be a best practices for, first step 1, first step 2, first step 3, maybe a document review, like peer review, and then, a mentoring component to it. So something that would be a shareable that has a collective support of all the universities. And then, yes, Stefan, do you have anything you want to add?
No.
Thank you, Stefan. Nancy, any questions from Polytechnic campus for Shirley?
No questions here.
All right. Joan, anything in Tempe?
No.
All righty.
How many Pac-12 schools actually attended?
Yeah, and so our provost had an excellent question. How many of the Pac-12 schools attended? We had a perfect attendance.
Great.
Yep, and I was happy to hear, well, this is not really good to be pleased, but certainly the private universities have way bigger problems than we do. But everyone's there. Like, I thought staff just had a few items, and then they went on for a rather long time. So feeling great about that. So thank you, Shirley, for that nice report on kind of a highlight of what was really 2 intensive days of like 12-hour days. So it was she distilled that down into beautiful elements. So thank you. I'll go ahead then, and if there are any other questions, kind of go on with just some of the ongoings with the Senate. As always, before I kind of jump into those items, I just want to kind of highlight 2 of our senators, one from December and then, of course, one for January. Our December senator is Joyce Martin, who represents ASU Libraries and has been with the Senate for 2 years, but has been part of the ASU community since 1997. Thank you so very much. Joyce is very busy because she is not only a member of Senate, but she's also a member of the University Services and Facilities Committee. And she also mentions that, like many, as a working mother, she's very proud to have also been part of one of the policies that they initiated within the subcommittee on a need for more of the lactation rooms for nursing mothers at ASU. We have a really diverse population here, and that was kind of clearly a shortage that we're working on. And if that wasn't enough, she also chairs the Academic Professional Grievance Committee. So we swore it wouldn't be busy, but sometimes we're wrong. And so thank you very much for all your service with shared governance to ASU. Our second senator is Marion Moore, and she is our January Senator Spotlight. Marion is with the College of Integrative Sciences and Arts, Science and Mathematics faculty on the Polytechnic campus. And I'm really impressed because she's been with us, been in Senate for 2.5 years, and has only been a part of our ASU community for 3.5 years. So way to just sit around and do nothing. But so thank you. And I want to also thank her mentor who encouraged her to actually, run for Senate position, because it was such a great way to participate and get a valuable experience. And she also, if that's not enough, also serves on the Senate Personnel Committee that does nothing at all. No, they've been also very busy, and has participated in several efforts that support faculty members. Among those, though, of course, are to avoid some of the potential discrimination with independent documentation that we kind of were looking at resolving at all last year, and kind of, I think, have resolved this past semester. So that was a really big piece. And she also kind of participated in the efforts to clarify how merit pay is determined and distributed, and to consider kind of tenure track faculty salary rankings amongst all of our ABOR approved peers. So also busy. So I really appreciate both efforts, and both bring unique and diverse perspectives that we really encourage and need, to represent our faculty accurately. A couple of the things just to go through. We had our spring academic assembly. You notice the format was a little bit different. We had an opportunity, this is the first time we've ever done this in this format, to recognize our president's professors for their work in teaching excellence, which I think is a nice opportunity to really, recognize all of our faculty, and to include our teaching professors. And so I think we did a really nice job as a first effort. I know we may be retooling it. I'm going to kind of look at the provost a little bit, but we may be retooling it a little bit, so we have it on record, that maybe to extend it a little bit so we can kind of also preserve the piece where we have President Crow kind of talk to us a little bit as well, because that's such a great opportunity to hear from him. But otherwise, it was really just a nice opportunity to kind of meet with them, and then and just see what they're doing. It's amazing. We also have coming up next week, we'll be hosting the Arizona Border Regions here Thursday and Friday. And part of that is we host a breakfast. Each of the universities has an opportunity to kind of meet with their regions. And so with that, we have an opportunity to bring in a diverse, and again, a nice diverse group of faculty members. We had space for 14, so I squeezed in 14 other faculty members that were recommended by all of you for looking at what their efforts are with respect to student retention and engagement across all the areas of study. And so it really gives us an opportunity to kind of showcase how we going to help get our high school students into university, how do we entice them to come to university, because if we can educate our own Arizona residents, we keep them hopefully here in Arizona and help, the state in general, and just keep our economy strong and keep our, we're here to educate, our residents. So that's been huge, and I'm looking forward and looking forward to that discussion and sharing what comes of it next meeting. As you know, we are moving steadily. If you didn't realize, we're migrating to Canvas, just in case. If that's a surprise, we're migrating to Canvas. It's only been, I know everybody looks at that clock that goes down, but just a couple of things. It's not a doomsday clock. So I'm not sure. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about the Canvas migration, and talk a little bit also with about the online IDs. I know that's still been an ongoing concern, so I do have some good news to share about that. And Chuck, I don't know if we have any PowerPoints. If not, no worries. So just a couple things on the online photo ID program. We can send out kind of talking points and notes just in case you forget this on the drive home, which I totally understand. So the key thing is, all right, so with our on-ground students, the few that we have here at ASU, we are 99% complete with uploading all of those. And so I think that's a pretty successful accomplishment. Now, as you can see, the next bullet point, with respect to our online students, we do have a backlog, yes. I rounded that to 20,000. Okay. The office has been given a deadline of fall 2019, which, as you can see, that number is rather ambitious, and I know they're going to work very hard with that. And I know it still can be a point of frustration, and I sincerely understand that. A couple of things, because it is now required, so a couple of things that you can choose to do is include in your syllabus language that would support that you have the ability to withhold their grade until they upload their photo. And that is entirely appropriate if you so choose to do that. And then provide them a link to that. And I can send that out to everybody following the meeting of where you could go, like, this is in my purview, and you can certainly upload your photo here. It'll take you probably 30 seconds or less. All right. So that's, an option. I know it's a bit of a stick, but it's still, it is a requirement, and I know they're going to make every effort to get those 20,000 loaded by fall. But just know that you have that as a tool. Another piece to kind of share is the Canvas migration. And so with that, our Canvas migration, we're doing really well. So I just want to kind of point out a few things and remind you of dates that come quickly. We're already at the end of January, so this will come quickly too. So with respect to migration, we've got 64% of spring classes already migrated for both sessions A and C. Once sessions B get loaded, we'll probably be at about 70%. So that's pretty remarkable. So that's a lot of great effort on the faculty's part for really being proactive, and then with our UTO and all the support staff that they have put in place to help facilitate that really seamlessly. That being said, not to raise an alarm, but just keep in mind that May 6th is the last day that you will have to be able to run a live Blackboard course. Okay. The other thing is May 31st is something that you should keep in mind. That's the last day to request to have your Blackboard course migrated over to Canvas. Keep in mind this takes seconds. Okay. It doesn't take much time. So my recommendation with everything else I know that you have going on is reach out. If you're not sure where to go for help, you can go to and the website is there, but it's just lms.asu.edu, and you can request help. I know in my College of Health Solutions, I'm very, very, very fortunate. We have 3 instructional designers who are just like Disney. You know, they're just ever there and they help, just like boom, everything's done. All right, so we're almost a little bit too spoiled. But keep in mind that I encourage you to do it sooner than later, because even if you're doing something entirely different over the summer, and you're not even going to be looking, you're like, well, it's not a big deal because I'm not going to be teaching this summer. Just make sure, give yourself 10, 15 minutes to look over your migrated courses just to make sure you have everything you need, okay? So that when the fall semester does begin, you know that all of your Word, like your PowerPoints, transfer, like everything that you need to start your fall semester successfully, just take a quick look, okay? And just maybe, you know, then you can just focus on all of your students at the beginning of fall. All right, and then if you need, you know, and if you have already been kind of ported over, you can go to help manage your courses. There's another link that was up there, but we can kind of send that out to everybody. But it's basically just, you know, it's a really long one, so never mind. I'm not even going to say it out to you. So we'll just forward it. But there are some great tools available for you. So don't let that be a source of concern, because there's so many people out there to help you. So truly don't feel like, and if you don't know who, just reach out to me and I will put you in touch with someone, okay? So if you forget everything, just email Donna Cataldo. I will help you. That having been said, on to some new business. We do have, remember this is kind of just like our first reading, you know, and that if you do have any concerns, you know, I'll have you, you know, reach out to the individual who put this motion together. Again, if you forget, just email me. But at this point, I would like to ask Stefania Traconia to come up to the podium in Tempe, and if she would please read the Senate motion that her committee put forward. And just as she's kind of getting ready, you know, I'll certainly open this up for discussion, but we're, you know, for simple questions, but we're really not going to kind of get into the deep discussion of it at this time, okay? But Stefania, if you're up, I can't see you.
Yeah,
You got
I'm
it?
here.
Thank you.
So the title of the motion is Amending ACD 804, Tobacco-Free Campus. And the recommendation is changes are being recommended in the policy background, title, and first sentence. See bold print changes. So the changes are all boldface, and they're all additions to the current policy. We didn't delete anything, we just added. So the background change is ASU recognizes that the use of tobacco and electronic smoking devices is a public health hazard and is dedicated to providing a healthy, comfortable, and educationally productive learning environment for faculty, staff, students, and visitors. The university complies with state law on smoking. So again, the change is the addition of electronic smoking devices. Now for the policy changes, there will be a change in the title, which will read Smoke and Tobacco-Free Campus. And the policy itself will read Smoking and the use of smokeless tobacco products and electronic smoking devices are prohibited in or on all university, and the rest of the policy is the same as it was. Also, we have two definitions. One is brand new. These definitions will be added to the ACD manual, and there will be links in the policy. So the first one is the definition of electronic smoking devices, devices that simulate smoking through inhalation of vapor or aerosol from the device, including e-cigarettes, e-cigars, e-pipes, hookah, pipes, or vape pens. The definition of smoking will read the burning of, inhaling from, exhaling the smoke from, or the possession of a lighted cigar, cigarette pipe, or any other matter or substance which contains tobacco or any other matter that can be smoked, or the inhaling or exhaling of smoke or vapor from an electronic smoking device. And the rationale for this change, well, there are 3 points. The first one is that e-cigarettes may compromise the health and well-being of students, faculty, staff, and community members who use them, as well as those who are exposed to their vapors. The second is that e-cigarette e-cigarette use hinders enforcement of university tobacco and drug policies, as it might be difficult to distinguish traditional cigarettes from e-cigarettes. Furthermore, when e-cigarettes are used to vaporize cannabis, the university's ability to comply with federal drug-free campus requirements is compromised. And finally, numerous health organizations recommend including e-cigarettes in smoke and tobacco-free policies. Some organizations are the American College Health Association, American Lung Association, American Academy of Pediatrics, and American Heart Association.
Thank you so much, Stefania. I'll go ahead and if anybody has some simple questions for Stefania, I'll go ahead and open questions here on downtown. Any questions for Stefania? All right. Thank you. And then how about in Nancy on Polytechnic? Any questions for Stefania?
No questions here.
All right, thank you. Joan, any questions in Tempe?
Yes, we have a question.
Dave Wells. Stefania, I got one question. Have you consulted or worked with the ASU student government related to this policy change?
Absolutely. In fact, this is basically coming from them.
All right. That's all right. Thank
They're
you.
all supported.
Yeah, I know with the Health Advisory Board that some of us sit on, the students really strongly supported this, which was, refreshing. So enforceable.
We had student representatives at every meeting, and they were really pushing for it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then not to forget about our West Campus faculty. Owen, any questions for Stefania on the motion?
None over here, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Stefania. Now we'll go ahead, please, and we'll have Lily Wang, our program chair, come up and just do a first read of the motions.
Hi, everyone. The following motions and proposals will be taken up at the CAPC meeting this Thursday, January 31st, and then will be brought back to the Senate for vote at our next meeting on February 25th. So if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, please get them to me by this Thursday so we can make sure that they are addressed at the CAPC meeting. And certainly let us know before the next Senate meeting so we can make sure that all parties that have an interest can be represented. The items listed in Appendix A will be brought up at the CAPC meeting but will not be brought up before the Senate. So if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, please get those to me by this Thursday morning. So here are the motions. Request from the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College for the name change of a graduate degree from MED in Educational Technology to MED in Learning Design and Technology. Request from the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law for the establishment of a graduate certificate in trial advocacy. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Life Sciences, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Computational Life Sciences. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. We appreciate that. And then now we'll look at some of our old business. These are our new course proposal consent agenda that was, again, sent back on January 14th. And if you remember, we vote on these in bulk, unless there's, of course, a request to remove a course from that consent agenda. So again, I'll just go around to the different campuses to see if there's anything to be removed from the consent agenda before we vote. So any concerns here in downtown? All righty. We're good here. So Nancy, anything to be removed from the consent agenda in Polytechnic?
Nothing here.
Thank you. Joan?
No.
Anything in Tempe? Fantastic. And then Owen, any concern in West Campus?
Nothing here, thank you.
Thank you, Owen. All right, we'll go ahead and let's call a vote, please.
Okay, Donna, there's 97 votes, so we'll give a last call for voting. Okay, I'll close the voting with 100 responses. Is that okay with you, Donna?
Sounds good. So we have a motion passed.
Motion approved, 97 yes, 1 no, 3 abstain.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that. Next, we have a committee motion. I'd like to invite again Stefania to present the Senate motion 2019-23 for us, please.
Okay. So this is the second reading. I don't know if Chuck can pull up the motion. The title of the motion is amending SSM 201-08, withdrawal from classes general policy. Now, again, all the changes are in boldface and are all additions. We did not delete anything from the previous policy, we just added. And the first sentence now reads, during the first 10 weeks of session C of the fall or spring semester, or the first 3 weeks of a summer session, or sessions A and B of the fall or spring semester, a student may withdraw from a class or classes and receive a grade of W. Now this change in the first sentence was not in the first reading, but a senator from Poly pointed out that the original motion did not take into account sessions A and B for the fall or spring, so that's why we added the parts in boldface. And then the last sentence, that's the actual policy, and we are going to add that students who withdraw from the same course 3 or more times are required to consult with their unit academic advisor to request approval prior to enrolling again in that course. And I just wanted to say, before Dave asks, that student representatives were present at all meetings that the SFPC had about this motion, and they fully supported because they believe it's in line with ASU efforts to increase the interaction between advisors and students. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We'll go ahead and thank you very much, Stefania. Let me start with downtown campus. If anybody has any questions for Stefania before we call for a vote. We are set down here. Nancy, any questions in Poly?
No questions here.
Super. Joan, any questions?
None here.
Wow, we've gotten 1,000. Owen, any questions in West Campus?
No.
Well, let's go ahead and call for a vote on this motion, please.
All right, Donna, we have 100 responses, so I'll give a last call for voting. All right, closing the vote. Motion is approved, 99 yes, 2 no, 1 abstain.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. And I know just our provost sir was just also, passing on he liked this idea too. I think it's going to also be great for retention of our students. Make sure that we capture them before they, they get into trouble. So I love that idea. And then if I could go ahead again for our CAPC consent agenda. Again, we're going to be voting on these in bulk as well. If Lily, if you wouldn't mind coming back and reading these for us, please.
So the following proposals were approved at the last CAPC meeting on November 29, 2018. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Department of Psychology, for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Addiction and Substance Use Related Disorders. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Mathematical and Statistical Sciences, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Mathematical Concepts of Engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. And then I'll go ahead and start downtown campus. Does anybody have a course they would like to remove from the consent agenda? We're good down here. Nancy, anyone in Polytechnic?
No?
Thank you. Joan, anyone in Tempe? All righty,
Nope.
we're just cooking with gas. Owen, anyone in West Campus?
No, thank you.
All righty. We'll go ahead and call for a vote again, please.
Okay, 102 votes, last call for anyone voting on this motion. Closing the vote now. Motion is approved, 98 yes, 1 no, 4 abstain.
Wonderful. Thank you again, everyone. And then that's what I have from my kind of reports and basic content. I did ask some of our committee chairs to kind of provide us an update on some of the work that they've been doing. I don't know if Helene was able to make it to the Tempe meeting.
She doesn't seem to be here.
All righty. Well, moving right along. If I could ask Chris Kaiselka if she might, share with us her chair's report for her committee, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Committee on Committees did meet recently. We considered nominations for the spring academic assembly elections that are coming up in April. Each campus is going to be electing a new campus president-elect, as well as new members of CAFT, Governance, Grievance, and the AP Grievance committees. At this time, committee members are working hard to reach out to potential candidates, asking them to consider running for these important elected positions. We hope to have a ballot in place for each campus by mid-February. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, so note to everyone that you'll be receiving something in your inbox. So please consider, reaching out to your colleagues and encouraging them to participate. It's a great opportunity to really get to know what's going on in this teeny tiny world of ASU. But thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate your work. Hong Min, do you have something to share with us from the Personnel Committee?
There's time to find that person.
Okay. The Personnel Committee we have officially assembled our NTE subcommittee, and Dave Wells is running that. And there are quite a few active items. I think they're considering multi-year contract for NTT faculties, at least for the highest rank NTT faculty. They're looking at career path and professional development for NTE faculty, and as well as paid and unpaid leave for NTE faculty as well. So maybe we can have an update in the future pretty soon. And Personnel Committee, we have the letter for the salary letter addressed to President Crow, approved by the Personnel Committee as well as the University Academic Council. So I think it's ready to be sent. Donna, is that right?
We actually, to update, we sent it last week, and we did just...
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So hopefully we'll hear back soon. If any of you have issues or concerns regarding NTE faculties, and since we have a subcommittee actively working on it, please feel free to either forward to me or Dave Wells. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you very much, Hong Min. And if David has something he'd like to share with us, I'd very happily welcome him up to the podium to share some of their work as well as the subcommittee.
So not right now, he says.
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't want to miss an opportunity. And then our last report is from the Thurman Lockhart, our chair of the Research and Creative Activities Committee.
Okay, hi everyone. So our committee has been working on looking at the RSP 604. So that's getting modified. That's the intellectual property documentation related to research. And so there are some minor changes that we're looking at, and then we're, of course, deployed all the documents there. We've also selected 2 individuals to the Classified Research Committee. We've been working on that. And also, going forward, I think we're going to be kind of working on some pirated kind of data and usage of that and possible implications. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. If you are interested in some topics related to that, let us know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Thurman, and thank you, everybody. All the work of the chairs has been outstanding to the point where some of them need something to do. So please, they've been really super busy, and not just busy, but successfully busy. So if there are concerns and you don't know who to send them to, always send them to me. And then I can always forward them on to people much smarter who can, you know, work on those questions for all of us, okay? So please don't hesitate. So now for open forum, you know, if I'll go around to the different campuses, but if you have any questions or statements or topics of interest that you want to share with us, let me know. I'll start here in downtown, please.
Hi, so I'm Elisa Bienenstock, and I'm from the School of Public Affairs. The topic I want to bring up is that when we moved from our old HR software, the PeopleSoft, to the new system, everybody I think recognized that it would take some time and there'd be some bumps, but when people in my school were working on their FAR, and I'm sure that it was elsewhere, there were more hiccups and losses of information were discovered in various different places. We were just wondering about what is happening at the sort of administrative level to try to, before the software, you know, we realized that it was old software and they needed to update.
Right.
But we, I think faculty sort of expected at least the same functionality.
Right.
And not a loss in functionality, and so we were just wondering what the new status quo is going to be, if we could get an update, if we're supposed to be tracking these things ourselves. What exactly is the plan to fill in the gaps or to address what some of these gaps might be?
Okay, well, just in case, thank you, that's a fantastic question. And just if not everyone heard of it, basically, probably everyone recently submitted their faculty annual review, and there was a software change, which some of you may have noticed, and subsequently many people reported having lost features and lost some of their information. And what is the plan going forward? Excellent question. I will certainly ask Deb Clark, and if she's in Tempe and she has any interest in addressing that, by all means, but otherwise I'll follow up to make sure that you know, we get an answer to that, because that only affects literally all of us. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So I will follow up. Great question. Any other questions from downtown? Okay. I will follow up. Nancy, any questions in Polytechnic that we can help our senators with?
No questions.
All right. Joan, do we have anybody in Tempe?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. If you would let us know who you are and your question, please.
I'm John Dalmas from School of Accountancy. Normally attend the meetings at West Campus. I hope you're enjoying the break. Don, I just want to go back to a question or go back to the thing that you had discussed, and I have a question regarding the photo IDs for online students. I was just wondering if you might be able to provide who we could contact to get some more information about the control of that process and how it works. The concern is that's used to identify if the student taking a virtually proctored exam is a student that is actually the one that we think is registered. And
Right.
if that's something that they're uploading, and it occurred to me, as you said, you could provide the link, if someone is paying a person to take exams or take a course for them, what prevents them from uploading a new roster photo to match the person that's taking this class for them or this exam for them? I'd just like to know what the control of that process is and what verification we do, because if that's not something properly controlled, it's really not worth a whole lot to us. Thanks.
Thank you, John. That's an outstanding question.
Stefana is coming to answer that, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I can answer that because I was in contact with the ASU SIM card services. When a student uploads a photo, they have to also provide a password or some government issue ID. And then, of course, they cannot change it every semester. I mean, the SIM card office will verify that it's the same photo.
Thank you, Stefania. I appreciate that. John, does that, I can reach out to you after this too, John, but just to make sure that you know, adequately and confidently answers your question, because yeah, that would be a sincere concern. Thank you. Any other questions in Tempe?
No.
All right, thank you, Joan. And then in West Campus, any questions for us on?
None here, thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. So before I adjourn, I just want to also thank Chuck Barbie, who is our Senate Director, for his commitment to shared governance. He actually recently accepted a position, yes, it's outstanding. We're losing him to the ASU Fulton Schools of Engineering as Director of Academic Standards and Curriculum Planning. And I have to say they're very fortunate to have him, as we've been very fortunate to have him here at Senate. So this will be his last Senate meeting. So I just want to wish him well and appreciate all of his guidance and insight and information. So thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Donna. Thanks, everyone.
All righty. And with that, as we have no further questions, we are adjourned for the afternoon. Thank you.